Hello guys and welcome back to the F1 Tube YouTube channel, and yes, it is that time of year again where I get to make my predictions for this upcoming 2020 Formula 1 season. Now let me say, in this video I will be devoting my predictions towards the Constructors Championship, and in a video coming out in about 3 or 4 days time, hopefully, I will be leaking my Drivers' Championship predictions. But before we get into it, let me have a little review at how I did in terms of my Constructors' Championship predictions for last season. And I think it's fair to say my predictions were utterly horrific. I only got 2 teams in their correct positions, that being Red Bull and Williams, and then you look that I put Ferrari to win the Constructors' Championship. They were a long way off Mercedes. I predicted McLaren to finish 8th and Toro Rosso to finish 9th. Yeah, not great at all. But here we go then, guys. My Constructors' Championship predictions for the 2020 Formula 1 season. I'm going to start in last place and work my way to the top. In 10th place, I have Williams, and I think it's a pretty easy prediction in my opinion, because Williams were a long way off the midfield pack last season, and I just cannot see them closing that gap enough to challenge the teams ahead of them. And when you look at Williams' driver lineup, George Russell and Nicholas Latifi, none of them are experienced enough to fully develop a Formula 1 car. That is something that is going to hurt Williams a lot. And I don't think it would be a massive surprise if Williams turns their attention to 2021 pretty early this season. The first of my controversial predictions leaves AlphaTauri in 9th. I really hope I don't make the same mistake as last season. Carrying over the Toro Rosso DNA, the team do have the potential to cause an upset in the Formula 1 field this season. However, I do believe the teams around them probably developed their cars a little bit better than them. Now, I am not for 1 second doubting Pierre Gasly's and Daniil Kvyat's respective talents. However, Toro Rosso's DNA and that team can be inconsistent when it comes to their Constructors' Championship positions season after season. But like all the teams I may possibly downgrade in this predictions video, I hope they prove me wrong. I've got 10th locked in and I've got the top 4 locked in. However, from 9th to 5th, I do not have a clue fully of where these teams will finish, so it's almost going to be like a lottery. But in 8th, I have Haas, and this is almost like a half-hearted prediction, thinking that 2020 will go a lot better than 2019 did for the American outfit. I'm pretty certain Haas developed their car, or started developing their 2020 Challenger, a lot earlier than their midfield rivals, so therefore I do believe their start to the season should be stronger than their rivals. However, with only 6 days of pre-season testing this season, it is so vital that Haas get their aerodynamic concept right on their 2020 Challenger, otherwise it's going to be another horrific season for the team. Haas, I do believe, will start the season strong. However, you've got to look at it. 2021 will be the first season in which Haas will have to digest a whole set of new regulations, a major stir up of the Formula 1 field, and I feel like the team will really want to prepare for it well, so I wouldn't be at all surprised if they had to almost write the end of the 2020 season off prematurely. And we've got to remind ourselves, Kevin Magnussen is a phenomenally quick driver on his day and can definitely go toe-to-toe with his rivals. And although Romain Grosjean's performances have dwindled in the past few seasons, you can never fully write him off. One big element that I do believe will hold Haas back this season is their inexperience compared to their rivals. That is something that will take a few more years to rectify. In 7th place, I have Racing Point. With the team changing into Aston Martin for 2021 and becoming a factory team, that will definitely affect the dynamic of the team. So I do believe that will curtail their efforts this season. This being a new chapter in their period of transition, if you will. I would like to think that Lance Stroll would improve his 2019 speed, and I do believe Sergio Perez will translate his brilliant end-of-season form from last season into this season. Perhaps I'm being a little over-ambitious with Alfa Romeo, but nonetheless I've put them 6th. I do believe that their poor end-of-season performances and speed was due to the fact that they were developing their 2020 car pretty early, and I do believe that will become evident at the beginning of this season. I also believe Alfa have a stronger lineup than they did at the beginning of last season. I believe Giovinazzi is revitalised from the end of 2019, and I hope he can translate that form in the second half of last season into 2020. Unfortunately, I still do not believe the team is capable of finishing in the top 5. And speaking of the top 5, in 5th I have Renault. I just don't think they are going anywhere, and I do believe 2020 will be another blasé season for Enstone. Yes, I do believe Danny Ric will be a lot more used to the midfield battles. However, I'm not sure on Esteban Ocon. I don't think he's an upgrade on Nico Hülkenberg at this moment of time. In 4th, I have McLaren, and I predict they will leave the midfield behind them again in 2020. Reason why? Well, they were so far ahead of the midfield in terms of points last season. It would take a cataclysmic drop-off for them to descend into that midfield battle this season. Their rise up through the field will be evident again in 2020. Like I said, I think they'll leave the midfield behind them, and they have a very, very strong driver lineup to bring home the big points. So guys, we have reached the big 3. I do predict 2020 amongst the top 3 teams will be closer than it was last season. I do believe this championship fight will be an enthralling one. Controversially, in 3rd, I have Ferrari. Now, I'm putting them 3rd because I'm looking at this team and I believe they are so fragmented. They are making numerous blunders on strategy. Their drivers are making an extortionate amount of errors, and I do believe that will cost them 2nd in the championship this season. Their pace of their car at the end of last season was also underwhelming. In the last 4 races, they were comfortably behind Mercedes and Red Bull on pace, and I do believe that will carry over into this season. And the talks early on of Ferrari's car not showing the data that the team would have wanted, I may fall into that trap, but I think it's another sign that 2020 will be another poor season from the Scarlet Red outfit. A lot needs to happen within the team. The team needs to ameliorate a lot of issues that they have been making. Charles Leclerc needs to become more experienced and more mature on track, and Sebastian Vettel needs to revisit his form of Red Bull and his early Ferrari days, but I don't think all of that will happen, and like I said, I do believe that will cost them 2nd in the Constructors. So in 2nd I have Red Bull, and I think that after a year of their partnership with Honda that they can push forward in 2020. I do believe Max Verstappen can go for the World Championship. Maybe not necessarily win it, but if he's winning more races, gaining more podium finishes, and if Alexander Albon is taking points off of Ferrari, there is no reason why Red Bull cannot finish 2nd. I am going to put my faith in the team to have the car on the pace in Australia. Not Austria, Australia. And that will be the big element that, in my opinion, will give them 2nd in the Constructors. So that leaves Mercedes as world champions again. I do believe the team developed their 2020 car earlier than their rivals, so I do believe that will be made evident at the start of this season, and the team, the drivers, just everything aligns in this team to give them Constructors glory. The Silver Arrows, in my opinion, will have the golden touch again in 2020. They have, in my opinion, the best driver on the grid, seeking a 7th World Championship, so that's going to drive him, Lewis Hamilton, and the team forward. They have a very strong number 2 driver in Valtteri Bottas, and everything in the team is just so harmonious, and that will give them another Constructors' Championship to their name. But guys, that is it for today's video. Please like this video, comment down below what you thought of my predictions, post your predictions down in the comment section below guys, and feel free to disagree with me. That is the beauty of opinions. We all have different perspectives, and you know, don't have a go at me. These are just my predictions, and I probably am going to end up with egg on my face at the end of this season. And if you haven't already guys, please subscribe to the F1 Tube YouTube channel for more content regarding the Formula 1 world. But until next time guys, see you later.